Hey y'all, welcome back. It is another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 313. Unlucky 13, but we're going to make it lucky. Hopefully nothing bad happens on this show. Guys, my name is Jason. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy and one of your co-hosts here on the podcast for all of the previous 312 episodes. And as always, again, for the last 312 episodes, I have got my partner in crime, my co-host, Hans. What is going on tonight, sir?
Man, I would tell you, we've done quite a few shows lately. Our last show, and when I say quite a few, we've done a lot, but the shows that we've done lately have been just topic shows. And we did, last week was the 5 don'ts of buying a brand new optic. So if you see this and you're like, hey, I'm here to see this scope review, but also I want to know what the 5 mistakes of what I don't need to do before I make this purchase, go check out episode 312 on the Late Night Vision Show, or you can find the website, thelatenightvision.show.com, or YouTube, or any of the podcast sharing apps. This week, though, episode 313, we were doing a full review. This is the AGM Rattler TS35-640 version 2. So if you are looking for a review of that scope, you have found the right spot. Now, there are, this has a bigger brother. You have the TS50-640 version 2, and you got the TS35. Really, we're going to talk a little bit about the differences here in a little bit. But if you are wondering, well, do I need the 35 or do I need the 50? For what I'm doing, the best thing to do, yes, you can watch the video. Yes, you can watch all the reviews online. The best way, though, if you're going to know if it's right for you or not, is to call us. Give us a call at 877-350-1818. You can talk to us about this optic, any optic that you might be considering, and we can compare this to other ones just to make sure that you're making the right decision. We're not going to tell you what you have to have or have to buy. We're going to give you a few options and let you kind of whittle it down from there. But we will offer you the guidance to make sure that at least you are going to make a decision and a purchase that you're going to be happy with and confident in. So again, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. You can contact us directly. We want you to call us directly. We definitely appreciate that. And we get a lot of calls from people that say, man, you told me on your video to call you, so now I'm calling. And they almost say it, Jason, like they feel guilty about it. And they're like, no, man, I'm glad. That's awesome. That's why we tell people to do it. But they're like, okay, I just making sure it's okay. Yes.
Long as you're looking to buy your scope from us, it's okay.
We want you to call. But yes, we're reviewing the Rattler TS35-640 V2. We're going to be talking, Jason's going to be running down the specs here in a minute. We're going to talk about the differences between that and the TS50, the walk around, who it's good for, and as always, our dislikes, likes, and Jason's going to close it out after that. So let's run right into it, man.
Let's get this thing going, guys. As Hans said, we really would appreciate your business. Feel free to give us a call. Glad to help you. Not just this optic, any night vision or thermal scope. Glad to help you through that process. Figure out what is right for you. Here's a good thing. Like even AGM, they've got this scope, and this may not be right for you. You may be doing a lot of bolt gun hunting, fixed stock rifles, whatever. They've got some scopes like the AGM adders that are fantastic for that. So there's a lot of different options. I know it gets confusing. Give us a call. Glad to help you. And again, we'd love to have your business. All right, let's get this thing rolling. So today we're going to focus this review on the AGM Rattler version 2 or V2 TS35-640. There's also a V2 TS50-640. We're going to talk about that briefly here. I'm going to give you just real quick the differences, but I think we're going to save that unit for later. We're going to have some video. So if y'all want to see some video footage out of this TS35-640, we're going to be showing that here in just a little bit. So there'll be plenty of footage. You can see, what hogs and other animals look like in the field at different distances at night, from very close to mid-range to a little bit longer range. So quickly, this optic, and you know what? I'm going to do something before I even get into that, because I know this question is going to come up. I know it's going to. And it's like, wait a minute, this is a V2, a version 2. What about version 1? So those units are still out there. They're still available. We're still selling the 35-640 version 1. It's a really good value. They've lowered the price on it. Here's the big difference. People always say, well, what's the difference in the version 1 and version 2? So in a nutshell, when you go to a version 2, what you're getting is you're getting a fully removable, rechargeable, replaceable battery pack in the version 2. Very long battery life. We'll talk about that in a minute. In the version 1, you're getting two CR123A batteries. Those batteries are disposable, and they're not cheap, and the battery life is not super long on those. So definitely the battery upgrade with the V2 is huge. Also, you're getting better image quality. This unit has a better sensor, a lower millikelvin, so a more sensitive sensor, which will do you better in bad conditions, high humidity, wet, those sort of things. You're getting a higher recoil rating, going from a 308 recoil rating on the V1s. These are up to including some 375 H&Hs. So, you're really moving up there as well. There's some other small things. They have audio recording where the V1s only had video recording. Again, a few other minor things along the way. The layout, the button layout is different, but I think kind of improved on this one. I think the menu system's a little improved. So it's a lot of little incremental things, but the big thing, what you're going to notice right off the top is going, if you already have a V1 and you kind of wonder what those differences are, or you're considering both of them, the battery system is way better, and you're getting a higher recoil rating and a better image because of the newer processor. So that just in a nutshell, because I know people are going to ask. So today, talking about this V2 35-640, the price on it is $3,995, right at $4,000. And it is a 640 by 512, and it is a 2-power base magnification. That is where your optical magnification starts. It has digital zoom on top of that, but as you know, when you zoom up digitally, you're losing image quality every time because you lose resolution. Its big brother, which is the TS50-640, is $4,495, basically $500 more than the 35-640. And if I said 384 in there, I'm sorry. These are both 640s. I don't know. And just in case I did. They're both 640s. Again, 640 by 512. The 50 is a 2.5 power. Now, one thing, and Hans, I know you get this a lot on the phones, is there's confusion. And this is from guys that are coming from a daytime optic mindset, and they think that the bigger lens is going to either offer them a better image quality or a wider field of view. And it's actually incorrect. So what you're going to get with the larger lens is a higher magnification, but you're going to get a narrower field of view because of the higher magnification. So I know that's confusing coming from daytime optics, but just to roll it out here, the 2-power 35 is going to give you a 66-foot horizontal field of view at 100 yards, whereas the 2.5 power 50 millimeter is going to give you a 46-foot horizontal field of view at 100 yards. So what it really, really boils down to is, which do you need? Do you need a little more magnification? Losing some field of view is not a problem if you're shooting further, because it doesn't matter as much. So if you're going to be shooting further, taking some longer shots, that's where that 50 is really going to come into play, and the $500 is absolutely worth it. If you're not going to be, maybe doing a lot of close range stuff, you don't want the extra magnification. You actually need the wider field of view. That's where the 35 can be a benefit to you. Just about knocked my cup of water over here, moving my notes around. So, all right. So I just wanted to bring that up, talk about the V1 versus V2 and this TS35 versus the TS50. So back to the Rattler V2 35-640, again, $3,995. As mentioned, 640 by 512 thermal sensor resolution, 12 microns with a less than 20 or sub 20 millikelvin NETD rating. Again, that's the sensitivity. So in theory, the lower that number, the better. It is a 50 hertz refresh rate on that sensor. Again, as we mentioned, 35 millimeter with an f1.0 lens. It does start as a 2-power base magnification optically through the lens, but you can zoom up digitally all the way to 16 power. As mentioned, the 66-foot field of view horizontally at 100 yards. AGM says it's got about an 1,800 yard detection range. That's going to be detecting a large animal or, like a human-sized target out there. Again, about 1,800 yards. That's detecting it, not necessarily identifying it. Identification. Hans, what would you say on this TS35-640 on an ID range? I mean, I'm asking you this, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to let you say yay or nay. I'm going to say realistically, conservatively, I think you could ID a smaller animal like a hog or a coyote pretty easy at 400 plus yards. What do you think?
Yeah, 400 or 500 yards. In some cases, even for a little bit further than that. It's a 2-power base magnification. So people that are buying this optic aren't using this for doing, understanding it's not for like long range IDing of animals. Sure. But yeah, 400 or 600 yards in some cases, I think is very conservative and doable.
Good. All right, that's what I thought. Didn't want to go on the record and say this since we hadn't talked about it, and then you'd be like, "This guy's an idiot."
Oh yeah, I say that anyway. Go ahead.
Exactly. That had nothing to do with this, right? I get it. The display screen, that's the little screen that you're looking at in there, is a 1024 by 768 resolution. It's got 4 color palettes: black hot, white hot, red hot, and fusion. It's got 2 different modes. They're calling them scene modes. This is something new, and you've got they call it a cold and a warm. And it's kind of interesting. This is definitely just a matter of opinion. You go into the settings, and the cold has more of a kind of a black and white, or almost I don't want to say blue tint, but a little bit more. The warm is more of almost a sepia type color. I don't know, something kind of cool. It's just, again, whatever you like. You can play with those 2 settings. Moving along, it does have, as I mentioned, video and audio recording, something that the Rattler V1s did not have. It has a standby mode and all the normal features. The recording is internally. You can hook it up via a USB cable to your laptop, pull your videos off. They also have a smartphone app that you can use. You can turn on the Wi-Fi and connect to the smartphone app. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it does have picture-in-picture. It has 10 reticles, 4 different color types. It does have what they call shot-activated recording, which basically where the recoil causes the video to start recording. We give our fair warning on every single one of these. If you want to turn it on and you want to play with it, go for it. But we have yet to see a thermal optic that has this feature that it works 100% of the time flawlessly. And what I found is that 0.1% of the time it didn't work is when you got that quadruple on those coyotes or those hogs and you want to show your buddies, and that's the one time it didn't record. So, pictures or it didn't happen and you didn't get any video. So I always just tell people, my opinion, you need to press the button when you're ready to record, press it when you're ready to go off. But they do have it in there, so if you want to use that and play with it, you can. Batteries, this is the big deal for me. You're going to hear us talk about the batteries on this scope over and over and over, and that is because they are fully removable, replaceable, rechargeable. It comes with 2 of these batteries, and on my bench test, I got almost 9.5 hours per battery. Again, that's sitting on my desk, room temperature, perfect conditions. In the field, turning it off and on, recording, doing different things, it's going to be less than that. I think it could still be 8.5 to 9 hours in cold weather. That could go down some as well. But realistically, conservatively, normal conditions in the field, you're looking at 16, 18 hours of runtime with 2 batteries. That is a ton. You can buy more batteries. They're about $125 a piece. So far, we have yet to have a person buy a single battery because you're getting 2 and the runtime is just so long on them. All right, moving along quickly. It does, again, USB-C. I mentioned that. A negative 22 Fahrenheit is the low temperature rating. It's got an IPS 6.7 waterproof rating, which is fully dustproof, fully waterproof, submersible to 3 foot for 30 minutes. It's got 1,000 joules is the recoil rating, or no, that's actually not joules. These are G's, which is different than joules, I was told. Basically, AGM tech support told me that most 375 H&H's and down would be fine on that. You might need to check your recoil. The unit without the mount and the battery weighs 1.13 pounds, so that's pretty darn light. And it's very compact at 8.7 inches long, 2.7 by 2.6 inches around. And the two last things that are very important, probably should have mentioned them at the beginning: a full bumper to bumper 5-year warranty by AGM USA, located right here in Texas. So any warranty work or anything you need will be done right here in Texas. And it also includes, for this $3,995 price tag, an American Defense Manufacturing quick detach mount. This is one of the best mounts on the market, in our opinion. American Defense is fantastic. This is a $200 mount. Again, quick detach, return to zero. Great mount included in the box with the optic, and you're getting that for no additional cost. Hans, I don't know what I left off, but take it away.
So you talked about the size and being very small and compact. Here's what it looks like, y'all. I mean, it is perfect. If you're looking for something for a dual purpose optic, when I say dual purpose, I mean if you're wanting something that you can take off and scan with and also put on a rifle and hunt with, it's a fantastic size. It is considered, that compact, subcompact style. I mean, it's really small enough you could fit it in the back pocket of your jeans, easily in a backpack or a bag. And just really very concealable, whatever you need to do with it. But a lot of people that are need an optic for emergency or preparedness reasons really like the Rattlers for that reason, because again, you can use it for scanning with as a handheld binocular or as a scope. So Jason, we talked about the American Defense Manufacturing mount that comes with all the AGM products. Here it is right here on this optic, as usual with the Rattlers. Rubber eye cup, eyepiece diopter focus is right here. You've got the button layout has changed a little bit from the V1s to the V2s, like Jason said. Much more generous spacing in the batteries, in the button layout. You can definitely work this at night with gloves on in the cold. Just that spacing does help you find those buttons a little bit easier at night. And you've got a couple buttons here, the menu button and the record button right here that are kind of facing a different way, but it really helps you find those in the dark. Just having that raised and having that little spacing really goes a long way. You've got your objective lens focus right here with this little shark fin on the front, a spring-loaded plastic lens cover, and like we also talked about and I showed earlier, the battery compartment on the V2, man, I'm telling you, the batteries, the fact that you get 2 batteries with it, and it's rechargeable, unlike the V1s, which run on 2 CR123 batteries. That was always the biggest negative that we had about the V1, otherwise a great scope, but the fact that it didn't have the rechargeable, any type of rechargeable capabilities other than just a CR123, really didn't do it justice, I would say. But this battery right here, it looks like almost like a camera battery. But man, I tell you, that is, when people are calling about it, that's what they're most excited about, is the fact that you can run this with rechargeable batteries. You get your USB-C port right here. So let's talk about who it's good for. This is a 2-power base magnification. It goes up to 16 power. But what I would say, again, if you're looking for something to use in a dual purpose capability or capacity with taking it on and off and scanning with, this is great for somebody that is building and wanting a lightweight setup and rig, a lightweight AR style rifle, a truck gun, something that you can carry easily, or you're doing a lot of walking because it's such lightweight. But since it has a lower base magnification and a wider field of view, this is going to be ideal for somebody whose average shot distance, and I say average, is, I would say, about 150 yards and in. That does not mean you can't take a 200 or 300 yard shot. But if you are averaging 200 yards on a shot. That means more often than not, you're going to be shooting 200 yards. You're going to want something with that little bit higher base magnification. But the 2 power is really good for 150 yards in on average, and even closer to that 100-yard in. But if you're shooting at 50 yards, 30 yards, fantastic. If you're in the woods, it's a fantastic base magnification, starting base magnification to begin at. Now, this style of scope, again, considered a compact or some compact style of scope, it's going to be more ideal on an AR style rifle. Now, you will see pictures of people putting this on a bolt action rifle. You may talk to people and say, yeah, I've got it on my bolt action and it works just fine. What I would say is that there's a chance that you could get this and it not be comfortable. You may not be able to get good and comfortable eye relief. And unfortunately, the only way that you know it's going to work on your bolt action is if you buy it and you try it. Nobody wants to do that. You want to know when you purchase it that it's going to be ideal for the type of rifle that you're using. So what you want to, if you're using an AR style rifle, it's going to work. If you're using a bolt action rifle or a chassis rifle, you never know. I would, if you're looking at trying to get something that will mount on any type of platform, the tube style scopes like the Adder are fantastic for that. This is, it could be a challenge with putting it on a bolt action and getting proper eye relief.
I just want to say real quick on that just don't buy this if that's your plan. And there's a mistake. I had a long discussion with the guy the other day as he looked at that scope and he goes, yeah, but that mount is offset. And I said, so? I mean, it's offset. And really, if you measure it, it's like 1 3/4, 2 inches. I was like, it's not that much. And it's a short, compact scope. I mean, the entire length of that, as I said a while ago, is a little over 8 inches. So you compare that to something, again, a 30 millimeter tube scope, like a daytime scope or like the AGM Rattler. Those scopes are long. They're made for fixed stock rifles. I mean, it's just perfect. There's no question you can make that work. This, I don't know. And the guys that I've even seen kind of make it work, a lot of times they have to put an extended rail and they have this thing just like it's on a diving board hanging back towards the buttstock. So definitely not what we would say any style of scope like this. We would say it's going to be better for your collapsible stock rifles, which is, your ARs and chassis guns and that sort of thing.
It is. And with this type of scope right here, the compact, it's great on that AR style rifle. But again, to recap, who it's good for, AR style rifle shooters, medium to short range, whether you're coyote hunting, hog hunting, small game, varmint hunting, coon hunting, it doesn't really matter. But it's that short to medium range that you really want to focus on. And if you're, like I said, if you're wanting something, a lot of people out there right now, this time of year with all the craziness going on, are wanting an optic to use in emergency situations or preparedness or just having something in case just things go way left. It's nice to have this because you can do anything with it. But we'll jump right into the dislikes real quick unless you got something, Jess.
No, I'm going to do these quickly because there's not a lot here. I kind of think, as Hans said, I mean, the style lends itself, obviously, better to ARs. So, I don't think it's a negative about that scope. This is true of any scope of this size or style. It's not going to be best for bolt guns. I think the menus are easy enough to navigate through. I think the button layout is improved. I think it's better. I think I like that. It's pretty intuitive. I do think that the menu system, some of the terms that AGM uses are strange. Even being around thermals for all these years, sometimes I'm like, what does that mean? They're not using a normal terminology. So I think sometimes that can be strange when you're first learning it. But, okay, here's where they redeem themselves. I think they have one of the best laid out written paper manuals of any manufacturer we've seen. It's a paper manual, comes in the box, and they explain what those terms are and what the things do. So I think they make up for that there. So I do think that I'm going to take that kind of a con and turn that into a pro. Now, I know there's guys hearing this go, wait a minute, I'm technology challenged and I'm a little concerned. I want easy. The scope is still easy. The truth is, and this is true in any manufacturer, but when you get into these menus, you don't need 80 to 90% of it. you're going to do a couple simple things. You're going to zero the optic. Maybe you're going to play with your brightness, your contrast, whatever. And that's about it. Some guys love to get in there and needle around in the, back 40 of the menu. I don't care anything about it. I want to go hunting. I don't have time to mess around worrying about the most minute settings that aren't going to change anything. So if you're not that guy either, if you just want to slap it on, zero it, you can do it. No problem. Again, menus, the manual is very good about explaining that. So I'm going to turn that and flip this back around and go to a pro. And I think that the paper manual is a big deal. I think that the American Defense mount, again, couple $100 mount that is included with it. You don't have to buy anything else. Slap it right on any Picatinny rail and you're ready to go. One thing, I know there's a whole list here, Hans and I've got. One more thing I'm going to mention. People always ask this. This is one of those scopes that it is ambidextrous. You are left-handed, you are right-handed. It does not matter. You can use either hand to completely control the scope. It makes no difference whatsoever.
Yep. Absolutely. So we got through that. Let's talk about
Hold on.
a little
You
bit.
didn't go. Wait a minute. There was a lot more. There were a lot more pros. You didn't.
Well, I was about to say that. I was about to go through the pros. More. I know you got through yours. I was going to get through mine.
Oh,
So,
I thought you were going to move on. I'm like, hold on a minute. I got a big list. All right,
I know.
all right.
So, as always, AGM, we've been a big fan of theirs, and we talk about this to death, including it's the small things, the American Defense Manufacturing mount. Now, I want to say this, that mount is a key part of this, but also, just making sure that that with this mount, you do have the ability to take it on and off. And sometimes we overlook that because we just say QD mount and some people don't know what that means. You can take this mount off and reattach it and it returns zero. So it is a true return to zero mount. But you need to keep in mind that all of these Picatinny rails, and that's what it fits on, a Picatinny rail, they're supposed to be M-spec. They're all supposed to be the exact same dimensions. So if you can take this on and off your rifle, if you want to switch it to another rifle, you got to make sure that tension is exactly the same. You're not having to retighten the mount, because if you do, then it may not hold zero what you had before, or not that it's not going to hold zero. It's not going to be the same zero. So just making sure that the tension is exactly the same. But those mounts are a fantastic and huge part of this optic and of the overall presentation of what you get with the AGM product. I'll go a little bit different in the positives, because I know you focus a lot on the technical stuff, but the AGM customer service has been fantastic. I mean, that's one of the people talk about when they call up and they're asking about the specs of the scope and all this. So many of you are asking about, well, how's their customer service? And that's smart of you. You know why? Because this is an electronic device. Not saying that there's a good chance that there's something going to be wrong with it, but with any optic, with any electronic in any industry, there's always a chance that something can go wrong. And a lot of times with these electronic products, when there's something wrong with it electronically, usually it happens very early on. You know it pretty quickly. AGM has done a fantastic job with their customer service. They've got some really good people in there. They've hired some very key people that we've had contact with and communication with. They do a good job of following up and following through and getting the product in and out in a timely manner. I know that whenever somebody has an issue with the scope, it's always Murphy's Law that it's right before you got a hunt to go on. And, something's wrong with it and you're scared about not having it in time for your hunt. I can't promise you that, you're going to get yours back within the time frame that you need it for your hunt, but I'll promise you this. They do very quick work. They're very efficient, very friendly. And it's a great company, great all around company, very well ran and managed company from top to bottom. So really good at that. You talked about the changes too, the scopes, the difference between the V1 and V2, the small little subtle changes that go a long way with the button layout, and the rechargeable batteries are the big thing. But the Rattler scopes have been popular, Jason, for many years now. I mean, the V1s were widely popular. The V2s, they made these key changes. And I'll tell you, a big percentage of the phone calls that come in on a daily basis, the word Rattler is mentioned in a huge percentage of those calls.
It is.
Not, you know, whether they're calling about it specifically or they want to know how it compares to maybe another scope or another model. But these things, they might be the most well recognizable scopes in the industry because there's so many thousands of these Rattler V1s and V2s floating around the US right now that it's insane. Everybody knows about them, Jason.
It's true. And it's also not just their 640s. They have them in 384 as well. They also have them in a 256.
256. Yeah, there's several different models.
There's several, and they've again been around the V1s, now the V2s. And I think that all these upgrades, some are big, you know, image quality, the battery, the recall rating, but some of the small things, you know, there's a little red LED that is on the power button when you turn it on, and it's very, very, very faint. You know, nothing's going to see it, but you can look down there and see that the scope is on. I love that. You know, adding the audio recording to the video. Just a bunch of little small things that they've done that really make this optic a good buy. I think that if you're looking for kind of what Hans said, a scope that, you know, you're going to do a lot of close or mid-range shooting, anywhere in that 0 to 150 yards a lot of the time. And I don't want people to hear that and think, well, I might have something run out at 225 and I can't shoot it. No. We're not saying that at all. We're saying that's not the sweet spot for this scope. I mean, if you're shooting all the time at 200, 250, no, this is probably not the right scope. But, you know, you need to buy where the scope is you're going to be using it most of the time. But this scope's absolutely at very long range. You know, you can make that identification, you can zoom up, and you can take the shot. It's just not what you want to be doing every single time you shoot it. Absolutely. But I do think it's a very good all-around scope. You know, I know you mentioned this, and I'm going to mention it again just because we are kind of in an election year. There's a lot of people talking, you know, just about, hey, what could happen this fall, civil unrest, all these sort of things. And some people are like, oh my gosh, that's hogwash. Other people are like, hey, I want to be prepared. I want to know that I've got something. This is the kind of scope to me that's good for that because it's small, it's lightweight, it's compact, it can be used in your hand, it can be with the Picatinny mount, with the American Defense mount, put right back on your rifle. And this is the kind of optic that I like for that sort of thing, especially in kind of urban environment or around your house because of the wide field of view. That's a big deal when you're wanting to see if there is something or somebody out there. You want that wide field of view. So I like that a lot. I think it's absolutely a very good value for the dollar at $39.95. Again, 5-year warranty, all of that. If you're hearing this and you're like, well, I don't know, I may be doing a little more, I may be more in that mid-range than this. That's where I think that TS50 is going to come into play. And we'll be talking about that probably more later this summer. But again, if you don't know and you're not sure, that's where I'd say to call us. Let us talk to you. I don't, you know, we said last week on our 5 don'ts, don't do these things before you buy a scope. Guys, there's so many models, there's so many brands, and the biggest mistake you can make is just eeny, meeny, miny, mowing it or doing your own research, which you need to do some of. That's good. But going, I've got it, without talking to somebody that's really using these things and letting them help you and just confirming it. I mean, I love it when a guy calls and he's like, this is what I'm looking at. Tell me, right, wrong, here's what I'm doing. And it's when you go, man, good job. That's a great scope. You made the right choice. Very good job. Sometimes, though, I'm like, okay, sorry, man. You got the exact wrong scope.
If you type in Rattler on our website right now, there's 8 models that pop up. So, you know, that's where people get confused. It's like, there's 8 different Rattlers. Which one do I need? And that's the thing where you know, it does help to seek out some advice on that. And that's where we can help because, you know, there's a lot in there that is useful for you as far as information. There's some in there that's just, you're only going to get the information by talking to people that have used it. And we've definitely used and tested all these scopes.
For sure. So guys, basically that's our thoughts on this unit. I think if you're doing a lot of predator hunting, longer range, maybe there's a better optic out there. AGM's got some other good choices. If you're doing a lot of hog hunting, if you're doing Sometimes we hear these guys are doing like pest control, shooting rats, or shooting pigeons in barns, that kind of thing. That's where this is going to be really, really good for that. And so, again, if you're not sure, give us a call. We're glad to help you. It's outdoorlegacygear.com. It's 877-350-1818. We would love to have your business. Guys, it would mean so much to us. There's a question we get a lot. Guys ask the email and they say, hey, if I order this, when is it going to ship? So this is important. If you order from us before noon, okay, before lunchtime Texas time, which is Central Time, you order before noon, Monday through Friday, normal business hours, we're going to get that optic shipped the same day. Now, there's always some exception, something crazy can happen, but 99.9% of our orders put in before noon, ship the same business day. And if it's a thermal optic, rifle scope, handheld, it's probably going to go via UPS or FedEx ground. Free shipping, no additional cost to you, signature required, insured all the way to your door. So I know that's a concern sometimes people have, is like, well, if I order this, is this one of these small businesses where you order it and in about 4 or 5 days, somebody is going to get around to going and pulling it off the shelf and throwing it in a box and they're going to ship it, US mail? And no. That's not the way it works. We've got a very, very well-trained, sophisticated warehouse. Orders come in, they print straight off on their desk. They go pick, pull, box of stuff and get it sitting there ready for UPS and FedEx. So don't worry about, something taking, a month to get to you or 2 weeks or anything. So that's not the way we operate. So just wanted you to know that. So you've already found us, outdoorlegacygear.com. Again, 877-350-1818. And if you're looking for more info on this show, this is the Late Night Vision Show, episode 313. So we have been doing this for 313 weeks straight. We've got a lot of reviews. A bunch of them now are outdated. They're scopes that are dead and gone, discontinued. But we've done a lot of reviews in the last 6 months of optics that are still new and out there on the market. So if you're looking for any of those or some of these we call topic shows, or we talk about different things in the thermal or night vision world or the night hunting world or guns or ammo, all that stuff, you can go to thelatenightvision.show.com. You can find it all there. We're on all the social medias as well as YouTube. You can just search the Late Night Vision Show and find it all there as well. If you want to find some more stuff about Hans, he's got a YouTube channel where he does reviews and puts hunting videos and stuff out. And you can find him at HANSETX. That's Hans East Texas. His YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the socials, he's there as well.
Thank y'all. This has been episode 313, the review of the Rattler TS35-640 V2. We've got, like Jason said, we'll be reviewing the TS50 V2 here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. This Thursday and every Thursday, y'all. Look forward to seeing y'all next week. Y'all take care.